have one of my favorite people in the whole world alive. Ladies and gentlemen, Orion Foxwood. Thank you so much, Orion.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be on here, Patty. I'm your number one fan. I need to let you know.
Mutual admiration system, because I am your number one fan. And everybody listen in close, because I know we have a little bit of technical here and there. My producer will try to fix it in post, but we're doing the best we can. Technology is not either of our strengths. Right, this is a tradition for us, Orion. You're the only person who's done my show as much as you've done my show. Most people only do it once, maybe twice, but we do this yearly with you because this brings us into the new year.
It's an honor to be back on here. What you're doing is, I think, a crucial piece of where we need to go. You know, paranormal research and just life as a witch, in many ways, it's about reintroducing us to the most intimate side of life. The bulk of life is invisible or introvisible, not visible, right? Physicality is a transitional state. Our scientists know this. And there's much of how we live that's a bit of an illusion. Like, are you ready for this? You're not really sitting on the chair. It appears to you or feels to you like you're sitting on it, but you're actually not. You're hovering just above it because you're resonating at the same level, right? And because of that, you're opposing, right? So it's that opposition that keeps you from falling into each other, which would not be pretty. Things are not always visibly quite what they are in reality. Most of life is filled with space, and there's resonance that holds us into form. That all of that space that is between those particles is the other world that we speak of. That is the underworld. The underworld, which is really the inner world. Now, where I think I watch your shows, and Bloody Mary, her shows, and I adore you. I see what she rose and pioneer, but not pioneers discovering a new land, but pioneers leading us back to a land that our ancestors held most valuable. You see, the healing that we all seek is in the intimate aspects of life, right? And our ability to once again present ourselves to life and to see it in its fullness, how it truly is. And I've been saying this little piece of hopefully wisdom, and that is that, and there was a woman, Michelle Small Wright, who founded Paralandra, which is a co-creative church center in Virginia. And I love this quote that she says. She says, to achieve the miraculous, you must see the invisible, right? But isn't that true where love arrives? You know, you can't sit in a room and go, oh, love just ran through, or love, you feel it, you sense it. And it happens when we present ourselves to each other unconditionally, or like if a person wants to be at home truly in their home, present yourself to the absolute essence of the house itself, to the spirit of the house, its memory, to the spirit of the place that you live. Consciousness is everywhere and everything. And I think in your work, you're leading people to an exciting, and it should be, because you're leading people back to what their ancestors revered. We got to go back, way back. And as much as we're achieving technological reach, right, we're reaching out further and further. Heck, we're in Mars. But we're not reaching deeper and deeper, and the two have to happen at the same time. Right? Because as we go out into space even, we're going to discover things about how life works in different forms of life and different forms of intelligence. And it's exploration such as your own that gets us ready. Because one day we all need to be able to step into the forest or step into a house, step into anywhere, and naturally feel its inscape. Right? I'm not a real fan of the word supernatural. I like to say natural, right? Because what you're introducing us into is to expand our subtle senses, and that's a challenge now for us. A lot of the things that we face, and then the dilemmas, and the strategies to heal or the strategies to address our dilemmas are really all in a sense of connected. COVID was, and still is, to make it through COVID. The only way I can make it through COVID is I've got to care about your breath as much as I care about mine. I've got to care about your immune system as much as I care about mine. We have to matter as much as me. And that has to happen in a partnership. If you look in tribal society, you'll see everything centers around the we-me connection, right? There was a thing that happened, really, I think it started in the mid-1800s, but it has gathered momentum. I call it the co-creative call to action for the restoration of well-being for Earth and its life. The co-creative call, and what that co-creative means is you and I are not creating in a vacuum, right? We don't live in something where nature's there and we're here. We're on this beautiful globe traveling through space, traveling through eternity with the stars passing through us and becoming us. And so there is one life that we're partaking of. And ultimately that one life matters the most, and that's Earth itself. We are made of her. We are sustained by her. She's our everything. And so the co-creative call is to call out is a paradigm shift and understanding that we are collaboratively creating destiny, and we are collaboratively creating our futures right now as it has always been. When we wake up in the morning, there's nothing that do or can do that doesn't involve an interdependence with everything. We wake up, we put our foot down onto the floor with faith that the floor is still there. And Earth Mother, thank you, because all throughout my whole life, it's always been there every morning, woke up, put my foot down. It looks like she's been there for you too.
Yep. Well, partially.
So there's the first big interdependent. And then from then on, I depend on the air to be there, to be able to breathe. And then I need food, and then I need water, and so the co-creative call is a wake up, right? Now, where we've been and where we've been going since the mid-1800s is into a society that's highly industrial, highly technological, but highly consuming also. Movement of like theosophy, Seclusionism, Wicca, all the things, all the way to the pagan movement we're in now, the eco-spiritual movement. All of that is because the ancestors were shaking the tree from the bottom up and saying, okay, we with the far-seeing eyes and see where things are going. You're forgetting your connection. In fact, if I was to lean on Christian symbology, I'd say, you're truly exiling yourself from the garden, right? I personally have a thought about that in the Bible, about the exile from Eden. I think that it hasn't happened. I think it's a warning of what could and will if we're not careful. My own interpretation of that is breathe guidance, breathe by spirit life over the years. That whole story is about fire, lightning coming down the tree, the serpent, fire then being offered to us in the early phases of our development. Things whispering in our ear, don't take that fire. If you take that fire, you're going to grow too quick and you're going to see yourself as something independent of life. Don't do it. It's too soon. But then other spirit forces say, take it. You take that, you'll start to see yourself as God. You'll start to see yourself and you will evolve very quickly and you'll have mastery over life. Well, imagine it. Everywhere, these little hominids, right? They're just glowing thing that came down from the heaven. I gotta have it. Ooh, that hurts. I gotta have it. Ooh, that hurts. We are down the line from those brave little monkeys that had to have it, and they took our fire. And change we did. And the fire let us be able to migrate to the cold climate, to steer the night like a golden sword, to melt metal, but more than anything, to cook our meat, to cook food, which increased our lifespan, killed all parasites, and offered protein that let that brain grow. Grow it did. And now here we are, millions really of years later. And in a society that if we look closely, we'll see how much fire has influenced us, running through the electricity that's animating everything right now. Plasmatic flame that we call electricity. Have you ever noticed that everything that we hold holy throughout all of our mythologies glows? We have halos. We have gods that glow. We have the angels made of light. We have jinn made of smokeless flame. We have fairies made of the glowing mist or liquid light. It's all about plasma. It's all about plasma. And then we have the electric pulses that flow between our neurons, that give us intelligence, that we have the neurotransmitters. So this all heralds from and where we need to go. The co-creative call to action is call back to the garden. When I was a little boy, I grew up different in or church Appalachian culture. My mom had a lot of country things, right? One day she told me, and this is so funny, kids are so literal sometimes when they hear things. Mama said, baby, there's 2 times we went to the tree. And I said, okay, Mom. She goes, the first time we took a bite of that apple, and now we have choice. Now we could see ourselves as human. We suddenly were aware of ourselves. So she's talking about the awakening of our individuality, the growth and we could see our individuality is a very big part of the human experience, right? And then Mom opened the second time we go to the tree. So with that, we were given something. She said, but with the second time, we take the apple and put it back on the tree. Now, this is interesting. I've never heard this anywhere else. And I remember saying, well, Mom, it's funny. I said, Mama, what's the apple then that we take back? She said, your heart. And it took my little boy would live. She said, no, baby. She said, moron. Mama would say. She said, no, baby. It's when we take what we have done with our will, our free will, our ability to choose, our ability to become individual visionary, right? And we bring it back in service to the greater whole. And the co-creative call to action is a shaking of the tree that the ancestors are doing, saying, wake up. You, first of all, you're not just human for you. You're human for all humanity. And humanity is not just human for itself. It's human for the earth itself. We are earth with human feet, and we are on her destiny. And we got to remember that we humans, and this is imperative that we wake up to this. I could cry when I say this. We are born of a benevolent conspiracy between the deep mother and the high father, made of the clay of earth. And the earth and the soil is the digested wisdom of everything that has ever lived. We've been comprised of that with the expansive nature of the heavens breathed into us. We are a very special species. We really, really are capable of immense beauty, but also of terrifying cruelty. And the co-creative call now is for us to wake up and know that what happens to you, Patty, is happening to me. What's happening in the Ukraine, that is happening to me. That's happening to another part of me. We've got to start thinking that the solutions that we're looking for staring at us in the mirror. Michael Jackson said one of his songs, I believe at that time he was still spending with Deepak Chopra. And he said just one line, really two. You're just another part of me. There's the co-creative call.
Yeah.
And so people are going to find more and more and more that there's something knocking at the door of their awareness. That there are unseen forces, human ancestors and others, that begin knocking, right? One of my students, an fabulous woman, visionary, Megan, wrote a book about spirit marriages. She just
you did the welcome to it, or you did the intro to it.
Yeah. I was so happy that the trailblazing woman was doing this. And that book is really worth reading. Because what she's looking at is the phenomena of spirit partnership and spirit marriage, right? Now, one of the things that I endeavor with people to do is to take away the ooga booga nature a little bit, right? And say, first of all, we are spirit. Truth is, we cannot even be sure that we haven't already died. We're in the stream of memory, right? So one thing I know is we're at the same place or the same resonance at the same time. I'm glad about that. I'm here with you. So we are spirits. We are essential nature essence that has localized itself on a stream of time. And what is happening now is the accumulated wisdom of humanity is starting to rise up to reconsecrate our actions for the future, right? We've grown to the technological place where we can no longer live the illusion of isolation. And this is where the co-creative call becomes more like a mandate. In order for us to grow in well-being for ourselves, our planet, our destiny, we now have to go back to an understanding of our interconnectedness, right? We have to make pause in our decisions and say, I know this is good for me. Is this good for she, Earth? What am I doing to be in right action there? What about when something comes before me on the TV anymore? I'm aware that, and I believe there's Ho'oponopono, which is a wonderful practice. But when something comes into a field of awareness, it means that I am in it. I am in it. That's why it's there, right? That's why the fate rose to cause me to become aware of this problem in this place. And it is our job to pray for that, to put action in some way behind that. See, if I act now like you matter, and you do, like you matter, like the people around matter, like the things that I consume from my food matter, I'll start to act very differently about life. We're going to witness this year some volcanoes of consciousness, some eruptions. And those eruptions are, we cannot bless the fruit and curse the root. The problems that we face, and we faced some scary ones over these last few years, did not suddenly arrive. They're downline for other problems, right? And so now it's time to start to begin to pause and not just merely look at things, how they appear, but how they've arrived, and begin to truly heal. The volcanoes of consciousness, well, one of them, I love Black Lives Matter. I loved everything about it. I loved it. And because you were watching a volcano eruption of consciousness that need to be heard. And if we listen closely to the wisdom of it, we're going to be able to heal all the different populations of us that have been harmed over the years. Women have gone through some horrible things. Gay people, trans people. And then when we get into different minority groups, and by God, we got the time for it. We've got the time, we've got the means. So this year, I think, and we can all feel it, there's a tension building, right? And that's, it's a dynamic, structural tension. A rubber band, when you pull it, the further you pull it, the more it snaps back. Well, that's kind of happening now. What we're going to see is the velocity of needs, the velocity of unmet places of healing that are simply going to start erupting. And we got to be willing to witness rage, hear those who have been most harmed, and hear them in their fury and love them. And sometimes it may say something ouchy. Different people may say something ouchy because you or I look like the face of the problem. Yeah. Be willing to be the transformative force in the world. Because love is the only way through.
The only love. It's all. And again, this is just so beautiful. And you see it, the rise in witchcraft, paganism, people aware of our earth, saving our earth. But at the other side, the divide is bigger too. So maybe that's going to be the explosion. The people who don't care about the earth, the people who don't put action and reaction, cause and effect together.
The best thing that can happen to any condition is to have their symptom, right? People often, when they get symptoms of a condition, they're like, I want the pain to go away, right? And I say, no, honey, you don't want the pain to go away. You want the healing to happen. The pain is the informer that you need to point your attention to that area, right? And I used to use this analogy that if you and I were chatting and there was a hot stove or something here, and I had my hand on it, right? We're sitting and we're talking, and I go, oh, well, that's hot. Ouch. Right? Well, that's triggered for me to move my hand, right? And if I leave my hand there and I just keep going, go, Patty, that really hurt. And then after, oh my God, Patty, I think I've lost my hand. Right? So the pain is saying, move in the direction of healing, of well-being, which is why we have to hear the voice of the harm. We've got to hear the voice of the pain. We've got to consecrate that rage, right? That hear it and attend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And again, and I, the eternal optimist, do believe we're going to do it, and we are. And it's people like you and me and all of us out there going, hey,
There is a lot of goodness going on out there too. I mean, we got to be careful of the news.
So careful. Because it's 24/7.
Yep. And we can get so intoxicated that we become like the rabbit in the box. My mom used to, sitting on the back porch one day, and she said, baby, you see that rabbit over there? And I said, yeah, Mom. She said, look over there. You see the fox? I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, I see it. She said, Mama's going to teach you something today. She said, that fox wants that rabbit, and that rabbit knows that fox wants it. But that fox is real smart, though. She said, watch this. Fox is just going to slowly creep. The rabbit's going to get aware of it there. And then the fox is going to start chasing it. Now, the fox knows it's nowhere near as fast as that rabbit. So now what the fox will do is going to chase it and start growling. And when it starts growling, that rabbit's going to be like having this image in its mind, oh my God, I'm already in the jaws of this fox, right? So that's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy that now the fox is getting the rabbit to do. She said that, sadly, honey, here's what's going to happen. That rabbit's going to take off. That fox is going to start, that rabbit's going to believe it's going to get caught, and it's going to circle right around right in front of the fox, and boom, the fox is going to get it. And sure as anything, that's what happened.
Right.
And she taught me a lot in that moment. She said, be clear, baby, as you go through life about your thoughts and what you think. She said, and what shapes those thoughts, what forms those thoughts. She said, because you don't want to be that rabbit.
No, that is beautifully put, because I was just something today talking about my grandfather's a big psychoanalyst, and about how when we tell ourselves something, good or bad, life sucks or life is great, our psyche just wants to do everything to prove that's right. What we said, prove what it's right. So it puts the spotlight on whatever we're saying. So,
well, yeah. And what we think about expands, where the thoughts go, the energy flows. There's a woman named Anastasia Newt who wrote a book called Practical Aspects of Spiritual Discernment, I think it was. And she had this concept that is powerful. She called it unlawful images. She said, be mindful of the movies that you watch, the things that you watch, allowing images of violence, images, into your brain. Because if you don't think they're getting in there, you're wrong. To mind the gateways of your mind, like inventory all the thoughts that go through, that I call them the haunts of the inner house. Right? I want to, for you, what would be able to do when Patty goes into a home, is able to hear the intimate side of that home, whether it's haunted, whether it's spirited, what's going on there. You would be able to do that. One of the things that I have found that has influenced both the good and the bad where we're going is that we've got to start also being comfortable with our aloneness. Like me, I have to have chunks of time where I hear my thoughts, where I hear what is happening within me. There was a man named Neil Clark, his work, crazy over. He's considered one of the world's leading authorities on the Aramaic Yeshua, Jesus. Well, one of his, and it's profound stuff. And I think the Sermon on the Mount, or one of the versions of it. And he says that there's a short one, and this is something Yeshua had said. Jesus would have never, ever answered to that name. He never knew that name. It was Yeshua ben Yosef, or Yeshua ben Mariam, during Yeshua, his rabbinical name. And he said this, So this is one of the things Jasper says. You must go with it to the mountain of vision, that elevated place within us, and summon the village of boys and bless. Well, that's very powerful. He's saying, and this is, to me, this is a part of that call. Before we can have life become holy, we've got to reconsecrate our presence in it. Because if we don't feel holy in God, we can't live a life of holiness or wholeness. So what he's saying there is go within and know that there is part of you that is eternal, which is true. The energy that we are was born at the beginning. There's been no new energy. It just moves around, right? Go within to that place where we know that we are stars with human feet, right? We know that we are the essence of eternal being. Summon the village of voices, meaning the thoughts, the fears, the things within us, the shadowy areas. Summon them to come forth, not so you can judge them, attack them, but instead summon all the broken pieces. Bring it to your most sacred self and love it into healing. The blessing, the word blessing comes from an old Texan word, bledschen, which means to blood. That doesn't mean to like dab or to blood, that means to restore something back to the life flow. That which we exile, we become. And abandonment is if you want to think of a devil, right, and the illusion of isolation.
Oh, that is beautiful. Anyway, oh my God, I have so many questions, but we actually sadly are very out of time. So, I know. Tell everybody they're going to be in love with you now, like I am, where they can find you, anything you have coming up, where they can find you online, in life, your beautiful books. I could talk for like 16 more hours, but I can't. We just have to have you back much sooner this time.
I adore you. I would love that, Patty. You're doing such a great job. Your people, such a good job with such integrity. Well, I have a website, still not terribly functional. I got to get to work on it. OrionFoxwood.com. I'm on Instagram a lot, on Facebook a lot. I'm working on a bunch of projects right now. One of which is put together a library of folkloric fairy material, and we're right now at 65,000 books. Did you not? PDFs. I'm putting that together. I do. I'm going February, March. So I hope to be getting out to LA. No, and I hope I will be a couple times this year. Keep an eye out, really. And you'll see me be bopping around a lot on Instagram, a lot on Facebook. Say hi, please. Would love that. And I want to increase doing a lot more public appearance this year and shows like your own. Because I think these shows are crucial. They go out to a district. They go out in a void and they show the co-creative alliance between all of us who are in the public doing work. But stay tuned, folks. There's going to be a lot of folkloric, magical opportunities this year that I'm going to be doing. I really think we've got to calm up the practices of our ancestors more, right? We want the roots of the tree now to be as solid as the branches of the tree expand. We don't topple,
We don't want to topple. No, we've got to take care of our trees, so to speak. So Orion, again, you guys check him out, orionfoxwood.com. Find him on social media. He has beautiful books. He has books on conjure and Southern Root Book. He has books on the Tree of Enchantment, Flame in the Cauldron, all sorts of fairy work, Southern work, and one of the best spoken everything. So I'm sorry we have to rush off, but come back again soon. And everybody,
thank you,
beautiful friend Orion.
May I leave you with a blessing?
Yes.
May all the powers of love encompass you through all nights and through all days, and in all good ways. Thank you.